This picture shows volunteer troopers from the East Yorkshire Yeomanry on parade in Sewerby Park. But despite this picture, Sewerby Hall, unlike many country houses, has no particular military tradition. However, Yarburgh George Lloyd Greame, who inherited the house and estate in 1891, did hold a colonel's commission in the local Yorkshire Artillery Militia, and this was perhaps one of the reasons that he agreed to allow Sewerby Park to be part of one of the most remarkable military exercises seen in the area before World War II. In 1893, 2,500 volunteer soldiers from the West Yorkshire Brigade, comprising the Huddersfield, Skipton, Bradford and York Rifles, held their Whitsun Camp in Bridlington. It must have been a spectacular sight to see so many soldiers in their scarlet jackets, and it was not just local sightseers and spectators that the camp attracted. The North Eastern Railway Company laid on special excursion trains from the West Riding for people to come and look. The military high point of the week was to be a mock battle. The scenario for the exercise was that an enemy, played by the Huddersfield Rifles, had landed on the coast at Flamborough Head and had set up a defensive position along Danes Dyke. Their objective was to hold the dyke till 11:30 a.m, by which time reinforcements would have arrived. In the meantime, a force comprising the York, Bradford and Skipton Rifles had the objective of dislodging them. On the morning of the battle, the Huddersfield Rifles left camp early to take up their position. The main force was stationed at Danes Dyke, with 4 forward pickets. Picket number 1 was stationed at Danes Dyke Farm. Number 2 was on the left flank and took up a position in Sewerby Park. This was almost certainly in the area of the modern woodland walk and golf course. Number 3 was just to the north of the Flamborough Road, probably in Martin Manor Farm, and number 4 on the right by Flamborough Station. In addition, patrolling sentries were posted at all vantage points in Sewerby village to cover an advance from Bridlington, and in the grounds of Martin Hall a field hospital was set up to deal with the wounded from both sides. The first shots in the battle were exchanged at around 11 a.m, as the York and Bradford Rifles made a frontal attack on the Huddersfield defences. The Skipton Rifles, meanwhile, attempted to get behind them on the right. After an initial success, the Skipton Rifles were stopped by heavy gunfire. Had this been a real battle, they would have suffered terrible losses. The York and Bradford men, however, had more success. Outnumbered and outgunned, the Huddersfield riflemen fell back through Sewerby Woods and across the North Park to Danes Dyke, where they were able to resist all attempts to dislodge them. The battle ended at 11:40. The Huddersfield Rifles had held the dyke for 10 minutes longer than they needed. The decision of the umpires as to who had won the day is not recorded, but it was probably the Huddersfield Rifles, as they had successfully held the dyke. As for the men, they were all given half an hour's rest, a lunch of bread, cheese and beer, or ginger beer, before being marched back to camp.